Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're re-diving into a topic that's more important than ever in our interconnected world: respecting cultural customs. It seems like basic good manners, right? But have you ever wondered how this idea became so central to how we interact with each other? Let's take a journey back in time to find out. For most of human history, societies were relatively isolated. You might live your entire life without meeting someone from a different culture. Your customs were just the way things were done. There wasn't much need to think about other ways of life. Encounters with outsiders were often marked by suspicion, conflict, or attempts at conversion rather than mutual respect. Think of the early explorers and colonial periods. The dominant attitude was often that one's own culture was superior. So what changed? A few key things. The Age of Enlightenment in the 17th and 18th centuries started to plant the seeds of universal human rights and the idea that all people possess inherent dignity. Philosophers began to question the notion of cultural superiority. This was a slow burn, but it was a crucial intellectual shift. Then came the 20th century. Two world wars showed the devastating consequences of extreme nationalism and intolerance. In the aftermath, there was a global push for international cooperation. The founding of organizations like the United Nations was a monumental step. For the first time, nations came together and formally agreed on principles of sovereignty and self-determination, which implicitly included the right to cultural identity. Simultaneously, the field of anthropology was gaining prominence. Anthropologists like Franz Boas championed the concept of cultural relativism. This isn't about saying anything goes, but rather that a culture's practices and beliefs should be understood within that culture's own context, not judged by the standards of another. This academic idea began to trickle into public consciousness, encouraging people to be curious rather than judgmental. The post-war era also saw the dawn of mass tourism and globalization. Suddenly, planes, trains, and eventually the internet made the world feel much smaller. People started traveling for pleasure, business, and education in unprecedented numbers. When you visit someone's home, you follow their house rules, right? The same principle began to apply on a global scale. To have a positive experience, to do business, or simply to be a good guest, you had to learn and respect local customs. The civil rights movement in the United States and similar movements for equality around the world also played a massive role. They powerfully argued that no culture or race is inherently better than another and demanded respect for diverse traditions within a single nation. This fight for domestic equality reinforced the importance of international cultural respect. And that brings us to today, in our hyper-connected digital world. We interact with people from different backgrounds every single day, even if it's just online. Respecting cultural customs is no longer just a nice idea for diplomats or travelers. It's a fundamental skill for being a good global citizen. It's about acknowledging our shared humanity while celebrating the beautiful diversity that makes our world so interesting. It's about building bridges of understanding, not walls of prejudice. From a history of isolation and conflict, we've slowly learned that empathy and respect are the only ways to move forward together. Thank you so much for joining me on this historical journey.